Welcome back. We are in Mombasa. Mombasa is one of the second largest city in Kenya. Is the entry point for this region for all imports through the Indian Ocean. What happened in Mombasa affects the entire East African region. Who is going to be the governor of Mombasa County? This morning we have one of the candidates, Mr. Suleiman Shabal. Karibu.
Asante sana. Bari yako.
Uzuri sana bwana.
Yes.
Now, you want to be a governor of this county?
Correct.
It's a very important county as far as the region is concerned.
Absolutely.
Tell us about yourself so that we know who you are and why you want to be.
I was born in Mombasa. I grew up in Mombasa. Went to school in Mombasa. Then I went to Nairobi school. Spent 6 years in Nairobi school. Went to study in the US, where I studied business administration. Came back to Kenya, looked for a job, couldn't get a job. Went to the Middle East, and I worked with a number of financial institutions there, the largest of which was Citibank. Came back to Kenya in 1996, set up a business going into the petroleum industry. We were the first people to try and get into the first Kenyan company to get into the oil industry. And
retailing, you are a retailer. Your company was the retailing company?
No, we tried both imports and retailing, and the oil majors were determined to stop any Kenyan companies coming in, and by 2001 we went bankrupt. So again I had to go back to work, and worked for another few years, and came back again in 2005 and set up another company called Gulf Energy in partnership with other young Kenyans. And in 2007 we started a bank called Gulf African Bank, which was Kenya's first Islamic bank, and we've been there since then.
What is an Islamic bank?
An Islamic bank basically operates differently from a conventional bank, in the sense that the conventional bank charges interest and the Islamic bank charges profit. So what you have to pay to the bank is more or less fixed, unlike in the conventional bank, where in the circumstances that we have now, interest rates shoot up very much. Then suddenly you find that your pricing changes dramatically. And by the way, this does not mean that this bank is only for Muslims. Yeah. It's just a different way of doing business. It's open to everybody, and we have all sorts of religions who are doing business with us and working for us.
Apart from Gulf African Bank and Gulf Energy, do you have any other business interests?
We have recently gone into the power business. We've signed a PPA with Kenya Power and Lightning recently to set up an 86 megawatt power plant in Athi River. So we're now going into the power business.
What is your interest in politics? It looks like a good bankman, a businessman, and why would you want to do dirty things? You know, politics is dirty.
Well, that is unfortunately what everybody keeps saying. Politics is dirty. Now, if everybody continues with that perception that politics is dirty, then it means that respectable people will stay away from politics. But politics is public service, and politics is giving back to your community. Now, I have grown up in Mombasa, and I'm a part of Mombasa, and my family is in Mombasa, and I see so many things that have gone wrong, and I see that God has given me the capacity to contribute back. It's my responsibility to give back now.
You have not run for politics before?
No.
This is your first time?
I've never been in politics. I've always been on the periphery of politics, meaning that my family has been in politics for many years. My father was a councillor in the 60s with Ronald Ngala. My uncle was a councillor during the times of Sharif Nasir. We were very much involved in the Sharif Nasir politics and the politics that continued after that. So I come from a very political family, and the name is very well known in Mombasa. It's not a new name in the political circles of Mombasa.
Well, have you decided about the political party you are going to look for governorship?
We are going with ODM. ODM is the most popular party in Mombasa today.
Who are the challenges? Because I know Joho, the MP.
Yes.
I think he's also interested in the governorship.
That's my understanding, yes.
Do you know other rivals?
I believe that Mr. Abdullah Marua is also running for governor.
And why do you think you're better than the two?
It's a question of ideas, you see. This election is not an election of just running around. It's an election of how are we going to change Mombasa. Mombasa is in a state of decay. Mombasa is in a state of collapse. The council, to all extents and purposes, has declared openly we cannot solve the garbage problem. If you can't solve the garbage problem of the city, what else can you solve? They are unable to balance their budget. They are unable to pay their workers. I think the city is in a state of crisis. And if we don't make an effort to reverse the losses that we have faced, then we are in a dangerous situation where Kenya is going north and Mombasa is going south. We must do something about it.
Why is it that Mombasa has many resources, the port itself, the hotels, the tourists? Why is that Mombasa is just that? You go to Mombasa, you find fellows cutting water. Instead of water coming from pipes, it comes in mutungis.
Correct.
Why is that so?
That's precisely what I'm talking about. It's an obvious failure of leadership. There is no reason today, in today's age and time, that a city like Mombasa is still having carried water, mutungi water. This is what we had in the 50s. So instead of moving forward, we're moving back to where we were back in the 50s. There is no reason, because there's enough water, there's enough demand, and there's enough capital to finance these water projects. So why is it that until today we are still regressing instead of progressing? That's precisely the reason why I'm going into politics, because these are the sort of things that the common Mwananchi is entitled to. If you can't even get basic drinking water, then where is our city heading to?
What do you say about the port? The port is a very lucrative place, but there's a den of corruption in that port.
You're absolutely right.
I remember there was a time, even if you used to get subsidy from government, they could not even import cranes, they could not. It's a corrupt place. How do you propose to deal with that?
Well, under the new constitution, the port is a national asset.
Yes.
We're not very happy with that. We believe this is a Mombasa asset. It belongs to the people of Mombasa. There has been talk that the government wants to privatize the port. We're completely in disagreement on that. If you want to privatize the port, the only way that this would be acceptable is if the people of Mombasa end up owning a substantial stake in the port.
But will they afford, if it's sold, will the people of Mombasa afford to pay whatever the cost will be?
It would not be the first time that a city has set up a public investment company to buy out one of their assets. It's happened in many places in the past. And this is one of the reasons why I say I'm interested in going into politics. This is precisely the type of ideas that we need to implement to start changing our city. Why should we sell our most lucrative asset? It is already profitable. You take something private when it's losing money, or it is badly managed, or you want to expand and you cannot raise the capital to do the expansion yourself. There's no shortage of capital today to set up a new port or to develop a port. India is a classic example. They have so many new private ports that are privately funded. If our problem is management, there's no shortage of international management to handle the ports. And the port is profitable, so give me one good reason why we should sell this asset to foreigners.
Who said the sale will be to foreigners?
Most likely it would end up being to foreigners.
What if it's sold to the rest of Kenya?
If it's sold to the rest of Kenya, that's perfectly fine.
People from Mombasa?
No, if it's sold to the rest of Kenya, it's perfectly fine, because it then means that the people of Mombasa would have a stake in owning their asset. But if it's going to be sold to private individuals and to foreign companies, then definitely the answer is no. We would strongly object to that.
What do you say about the corruption that takes place there, particularly in paying duties? There's a lot of people in Mombasa who have made millions because of not paying duty, bringing goods, whatever. They're not paying at all.
You're absolutely right. That's a national theft. why should the ordinary Mwananchi be paying tax and a few people become fabulously rich by not paying tax? And it basically means that the Mwananchi is subsidizing these people. It should definitely be stopped. This is something that the current government has tried to reduce, but it has not been stopped. We all know that.
There are a number of Mombasa rich businessmen,
yes,
who control the politicians there. I don't know where I belong to any of those groups that
no,
the call the shots.
No, I don't belong to any business group. I believe that in politics, these business groups are all very important, and they all play an important role in the economy of the country. So you always have to find a balance between what is the public interest and what is the business interest. And I think we can find that balance.
Well, somebody is asking you, why do you go to politics when you have opportunity to offer professional help? Why can't you do whatever you want to do without being governor of the county?
Good question. You see, I've tried very much to do this. And one of the straw that broke the camel's back that made me go into politics was I was involved in some educational initiatives. And the more we tried, the more we realized that the funding is just not there. Trying to raise money today through Harambes is an extremely difficult job. So why should we allow politicians who have access to billions of shillings that belong to the public, why should we allow them to mismanage these funds, and then we in the private sector or try to raise 4 million, 5 million here when we allow them to play with billions? It is the fight for control of resources to make sure that these resources go to the right place that is making us go into politics. It is the realization that unless you're in politics, you will never be able to use our resources properly.
Somebody has asked a question I wanted to ask earlier about
Yes.
The Mombasa Republican Council.
Yes.
It's a group that wants the coast to secede.
Yes.
What do you think about them?
My position on the MRC is very, very clear. The MRC as an organization, what they are fighting for is based on some truth. The coastal people have definitely been marginalized since independence. The coastal people have not had their share of the national cake. Our systems have failed in the coast. And the dissatisfaction with the political system today is what you're seeing evolving into the MRC. Where we differ with the MRC is that they want to secede. I believe that the new constitution has already given us 80% of the solution to our problems. We can now no longer blame other people for our failures. The constitution gives us the right and the opportunity to remedy where we have gone wrong and take control of our own destiny. And what I keep saying in all my interviews is that this is the equivalent of the government owes us 1,000 shillings. They have given us 800. Let's take the 800, put it in our pocket, and continue fighting for the remaining 200. But running away and saying we want to secede is not the solution to our problems. We are part and parcel of Kenya. We will always be.
What do you mean that coast people have not been given the share? The problem is that a lot of people in the coast think that the coast belongs to the coast people. That there are a lot of other outsiders, Kikuyu, Luos, and blah, 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 who have gone there. Yet, Mombasa, and it's a cosmopolitan area because of the nature of the port.
Yes.
If you take away other people, it will not work.
Nobody's saying, I think that's a misconception. When we say the coast belongs to the coastal people, of course it belongs to the coastal people. It doesn't mean that other people are not welcome. And today you will find that there are some people from upcountry who have lived in Mombasa for the last 25 years. They live there, they work there, they have businesses there, their children go to schools there. They are very much part and parcel of the community in the coast. You know, this story is that the coastal people do not want people from upcountry. It's completely not true. Historically, Coastal people have been very welcoming, and that has never been an issue. It's only now that these frictions are coming up, which is very unfortunate.